Hey guys, welcome back to Ninjago News TV, and most importantly, happy Day of the Departed. I don't normally upload on Mondays, but today is Day of the Departed, marks 2 years since the Day of the Departed special aired in America, and I figured we'd talk about Day of the Departed. I'd talk about my own personal experience with it, everything leading up to Day of the Departed, and what the aftermath and the reaction of the community to Day of the Departed was. I'm just going to talk about all of that. So yeah, this is looking back on Day of the Departed 2 years later. So yeah, guys, to understand Day of the Departed, we first have to start at the beginning. Back when Day of the Departed was not just a day, it was actually an entire season. Season 7, Rise of the Villains. So enter the year 2016, after Skybound, and we start getting some leaks for the upcoming installment of Ninjago. So what we got first, we got the official Day of the Departed poster leaked, and the Close the Circle poster, of course with the confidential stamps on them. So yeah, back then those were leaks. I didn't start to be an really active member of the Ninjago community until early this year, but I do remember back in 2016, I did look at videos. That was probably the most active I've been in the Ninjago community, with the exception of this year, of course. This year is pretty active for me. But anyways, moving on, we were all getting excited for Season 7, Rise of the Villains. And old villains were rumored to return after we did get that poster with the Day of the Departed villains in them. You know, we knew at that point that old villains were going to return, and that Yang would be highlighted as the main villain of the season. So this excited a lot of people. I know from myself, I was very excited to see an entire season dedicated to the return of the villains. We hadn't seen Samakai and Kozu in a long time. Cryptor also had been out of commission for 2 years, and of course, it would be nice to see Chen and Moro. Again, both of them are really interesting characters, even though it had been just a year since we had seen them. But yeah, everyone was really excited for Rise of the Villains. And this is where all the big hype comes up. Rise of the Villains was one of the most hyped up Ninjago installments yet. So ultimately that led to a lot of community disappointment after Day of the Departed actually aired. So now, I believe at Comic-Con or another event, it was confirmed that Rise of the Villains was not Rise of the Villains, and just Day of the Departed. It was reduced down to just one double-length episode. So yeah, that definitely bummed out a lot of people. But yeah, we got a preview of the beginning of Day of the Departed, I think, at Comic-Con or whatever the event was. So yeah, and even in the months leading up to Day of the Departed, no longer Rise of the Villains, now it's Day of the Departed, there was still a lot of hype about it. And eventually the air date came. This was the first Ninjago Halloween special, and the first actually special also. This was a major milestone for Ninjago, as it was the first installment that was not an actual episode. Of course, the pilots weren't episodes either, in a way, but they were the length of normal episodes. So, anyways, my own personal experience, I was not able to watch Day of the Departed. That was the year the Cubs went to the World Series. Go Cubs, by the way. And yeah, so I went to the World Series in Chicago, and I was there the day of the Departed aired. It was on October 29th, a Saturday, I believe. But yeah, anyways, after I got back from my little trip to Chicago, and I was depressed because the Cubs lost both games. Anyways, so I watched Day of the Departed, and I'm that kind of guy who always loves the season right after it airs. That is me. So I thought Day of the Departed was fine. Nothing that awesome. I don't remember loving it. I don't remember hating it either. Now, of course, as the months went by, I started to get more critical of it. Day of the Departed, and now we'll talk about the community reaction. This was one of the most hyped up Ninjago things yet. And because it was only, 44 minutes instead of a season, this is where I think it failed. My own personal opinion is that Day of the Departed is not that good. Not horrible, not good either, by no means. It bit off more than it could chew, tried to accomplish more than it could. They tried to condense a season's worth of material into one 44-minute episode, which was pretty disappointing. There are a lot of huge lists of errors in Day of the Departed. You can go to Ninjago Wiki, or there's some guy who did everything wrong with Day of the Departed too, so you can feel free to watch those. And yeah, there were good things about Day of the Departed too. Nice to see some backstory on Yang, and nice to get a little bit more development about him. Nice to get a Cole, quote-unquote, season, even though this doesn't count as a season, and we're still all begging for a real Cole season, but this is the first Cole thing we got. Now, as for the real community, as for the overall community reception, a lot of people don't like Day of the Departed, and this is considered for many people who I've at least seen to be a pretty big letdown. Now, there are some people who love Day of the Departed, but all in all, I'd say that there are more people who don't like Day of the Departed, but this is just based on what I've seen. Anyways, yeah, I think the overall community reception was that Day of the Departed was pretty much not that good. This was due to overhyping and Rise of the Villains changing to Day of the Departed. This is why I think that Day of the Departed, in many people's eyes, was a pretty big letdown. And I have to agree with that. Yeah, guys, this is looking back on Day of the Departed 2 years later. So, what did you think of Day of the Departed? How did you like it? What was your own personal experience with it? Be sure to leave a comment in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, share with everyone you know, and I will see you next time.